It's Canner Tip Tuesday, and today's Canner Tip Tuesday is different, essentially, because you shaped it that way. We asked you, the Canner universe, whether you had an interest in integrating Aiki principles into your cane practice. And if you don't know what that means, that's okay, stick around. But a whopping 97% came back and said, absolutely yes. What that tells us is that you are ready for the next evolution of a cane practice, which is not just self-protection, not just flow, but an integrating of both of them, which is Aiki based. Stick around. It's Canner Tip Tuesday, and before we jump into today's topic, go ahead, if you haven't done this already. If you're really liking the content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so that you don't miss any future content, and avail yourself of the #1 free resource, which is the no-cost cane clarity call. And you do that by texting the letter CCC to the number on the screen. In less than 24 hours, we will be on a scheduled phone call with you, listening to what it is that attracted you. What did you see? Maybe it's this video. Maybe it is, in essence, that whole idea of integrating Aiki in with the cane. Whatever it is, let's have all your questions answered, and more importantly, how can you get cane trained in the comfort of wherever you are? Yes, even if you don't have a training partner. I'm going to be talking about that today, as a matter of fact. But you do that, again, by texting those letters CCC to the number on the screen. And also, you have Facebook groups, interest group that are open to the general public. Read the description below, request entry. They will let you in as long as you agree to the group rules. Please remember to do that so that they let you in. What is Cane Aikido? Let's talk about what it is not. It is not about tradition. It is not about uniforms, and it's not about dojo ritual. Now, there's nothing wrong with those things. It's just that's not how we do things here. Instead, what it is, it's an integrating of these principles of harmony and how you can apply them to this tool. Why to this tool? Because if you practice with quote unquote weapons in Aikido, things like a bokken, a staff, a jo, those are all great. However, you cannot carry those. You can't walk around with those. You're not going to be able to have them on you where, God forbid you need to use something like that for self-protection. You're just not going to be able to have it with you. On the other hand, you can take this anywhere you go, because it's essentially a medical device that I always say with training can save your life. So you're taking those principles and you're applying them here, and it's also an opportunity to practice things like peaceful conflict resolution. It's never been, if you follow me in anything associated with ACSD, CaneFlow, Somatic events, it's never been about taking a cane or mindlessly whacking anybody in the head. That's not what we do here. So if that resonates with you, then these principles and this program that I'm sharing with you here today is right in line. So what's the big idea? Think of it this way. Traditional Aikido has always required a training partner. Cane Aikido gives you one. And it's done with this tool. So when individuals out there, maybe Aikido instructors, I've seen some of this, I've spoken to some of you, you go to do you go to integrate your Aiki principles into that. It typically has you doing an Aikido application with a cane in hand. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we bring is something very different. We do take those principles. We do use the cane in a very unique way to do that. And one of the things that we do is we take this cane and we create an Aiki Ally, if you will, a training ally. If I take this, here's your tip for the week, so you can see how that works. If you take this cane, the horn, this is the horn and the crook of the cane pointing away. Now you can do this with a derby style handle, doesn't really matter. You can do this with a dowel, you can do this with an umbrella. If I do this, this represents a frontal strike that's coming at you. We would preface the whole thing by going over the cane anatomy. I'm not going to do it here, but just know that this portion of the horn and the crook represents a grab, and it also represents a face, right? Sometimes your cane has eyes on there and you decorate them, so just remember that. But this is the nose, right? when you do this, you have a frontal strike that's coming at you. The strike can also come from here, so it's a side strike. The strike could potentially come to your midline. But if I do a movement like this, for instance, where this is coming here, and I do something like this, most Aiki practitioners will recognize that movement. And what's happening is whatever's coming at you, see, you're doing this, and that's necessary because that's part of the kinesthetic training. You're not just going through the motions out in the air or moving with something that is stationary. This is coming at you here, and if you don't move, that's going to hit you, and now you're stepping, you're making contact, and you're doing this pivot to secure it, and then possibly either coming in this way or making contact. But notice that on both of these, you're closing. It's a closed movement where you actually make contact, and that's important. If I do this to one side, I can then switch and do that to another. In Aiki, you say, well, that is an irimi nage, right? It's a direct entry, or however you refer to it. But you'll recognize, and the same thing can be done. This represents a grab, see? That represents a grab. And if I do a movement like this and come over, just that movement there, many of you will say, wow, that's that Ikkyo principle, or that first principle, or however it is that you refer to it, with a slight pivot in here. The cane comes into the web of the thumb and the index finger. You come out. You can practice, those of you that practice CaneFlow, the principles of gathering in here with an inhale, and now you're going to exhale, and this happens over at the elbow, and now you're coming from here and using your centers with all these things that we break down. And so this becomes your quote-unquote ally. And then, of course, this is going to translate into the empty hand. So I just gave you two right there, if you're paying attention and following along with that. Ideas as to how you're going to use this. But, of course, we have it organized, structure. That's the hallmark of ACSD-related programs. That's how we would do it here. And pretty much it would just be plug and play for you. If you're also an Aiki-based instructor, whether it be Aikido, Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, or something similar, and I'll be talking about that because statistically, the interest in these arts have dipped. This could be a way to revamp your programs. And I'm not going to get into the details here now. I'll let you know when I'm going to be doing that. But in essence, you're bringing something that's very practical, that doesn't require a lot of room, doesn't require a lot of prep. And you can do it not to replace what you're doing unless you want to, but to add it as an adjunct that is practical, that is fresh, that it's economic, it doesn't take up a lot of time, and it's very enjoyable and effective in the actual practice. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing with you more details on this. I'll make an announcement as to where I'm going to reveal how all of this is going to work, how you can learn it, all the details of it. But for now, if you're part of that 97% that said yes, go ahead and comment below. Don't stop here, because that's what we read. Oh, okay, well, 97%, that's pretty high, Joe. I mean, you got everything you need. No. Go ahead and comment below. Keep that momentum going, because we actually read what you say, and that's going to influence how we roll certain things out. Okay, so thank you so much to all of you that participated. Thank you for your emails, but go ahead and let us know below, what is it that intrigues you most? What are you most curious about? Joe Robaina with, an exciting program coming your way. And congratulations, because you are helping to shape it, and that is that Cane Aikido. All right, stay safe.